My husband tried to kill me by stealing my cancer meds. I don't know if what I did makes me a terrible mother. I kicked my son out of our house based on what I thought was solid evidence, and it turns out I was completely wrong. But here's the thing, when I found out who really stole my medication, the person behind it was so much worse than I could have imagined. Let me back up. 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer. Stage 3. The doctors used words like aggressive treatment and survival rates, and my husband David would squeeze my hand during those appointments, and I remember thinking that at least I had him. At least I wasn't going through this alone. The treatment plan was brutal. Chemotherapy every other week, medications that cost more than our mortgage, and side effects that made me feel like I was already dead. We were hemorrhaging money. Our savings account that we'd built up over 23 years of marriage just evaporated. David worked in finance and made decent money, but cancer doesn't care about your income bracket. We were spending $4,000 a month on medications alone, and that was after insurance. My son Mark had moved back home about 6 months before my diagnosis. He dropped out of college his junior year, said it wasn't for him, and needed a place to stay while he figured things out.
He was 22 at the time.
David wasn't thrilled about it. He paid for 3 years of tuition at a decent state school and felt like Mark had thrown it away. But I'd convinced David to let him stay. He's our only child. Where else was he supposed to go? Mark had gotten into some trouble in high school. Nothing major, but enough to make us worry. He'd stolen money from my purse twice, once when he was 16, once at 17. Both times it was less than $100. Both times he'd apologized, said he needed it for something stupid, promised he'd never do it again. So when my medication disappeared, I'll be honest, Mark was the first person I thought of. It was a Thursday morning. I went to the bathroom to take my morning pills, and the organizer was gone. Just gone. The spot where it always sat was empty. I checked everywhere. The medicine cabinet, the bedroom, the kitchen. My heart was pounding, and I was starting to panic because I needed those pills. Missing even one day of the chemo medication could set back my treatment by weeks. That's when I decided to check Mark's room. I started going through drawers, checking his closet, looking under piles of dirty laundry. I felt guilty doing it, like I was betraying him, but I couldn't stop. Then I lifted his mattress. There was a plastic shopping bag underneath. Inside the bag was cash. A lot of cash. I didn't count it right then, but it had to be at least $2,000, maybe more. 20s and 50s and hundreds, all rubber banded together in little stacks. The full story is on the channel. Link in description.